We are live. Uh, I'm so elated about today. Today is day 19. And for whatever reasons, when we started this journey, it's been, for whatever reasons, I was in between. Are we able to follow it through? We will get there. And I'm so elated that we're on day 19. And you know what makes today so really exciting for me is, I came into a certain truth as to something has happened with all of these exercises going on. And that is that as we continue to, um, how would I put it now? That as we continue to learn or teach, we begin to experience some form of learning. Um, and this learning is such that um, it just is transformational to the extent that no matter what, you are all a better person. Okay? Always just a better person. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to all those that showed up. I'm grateful to God. I have a grateful attitude because of this journey. And I'm hoping that for those that have followed all through with us, they are also able to come in tandem with this truth as to embracing the reality that until we unlearn, we truly cannot learn. And once we let go, somehow we start to experience peace. As we experience peace, we experience purity, and that way we can also experience progress. Because ultimately, as life progresses, there's something that is key. Um, the guys that are not able to change will go into extinction. Well, I hope that that will not be our lot. Now, even when I was starting this, I really never thought that I could have this transformational journey, or personal transformational journey. But I've also been able to rediscover myself, and it's caused me to be more intentional as to how I relate and interact with people beyond just my spouse. And I'm hoping that maybe when this book is out, with all the insights we've garnered, inspiration and information, just researching and learning, it will just make just one person, a better person. Because the reality about life is that we're supposed to be connected in the wholeness of who we are. And there's a principal commandment. It says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." So truly, in rediscovering yourself, you probably also have just discovered that um, you can't truly love if you've not started to love yourself. So I want you to embrace this moment, okay? And just say, you know what, I love myself. If possibly, give yourself a hug, and just begin to chat and channel that energy back to you, because no one else is going to save you, okay? So today, we will be talking about the rediscovering ourselves, much more than what life affords, but with the understanding that the traditional roles are giving way. They are giving way. And as they give way, well, what are you going to be doing? A lot of us have grown up with these expectations around uh, life. Being men, along certain traditions, we have, yes, we are providers, we are protectors, and we are the head of the household, right? But notwithstanding, these roles have become ingrained in society for generations. But as time changes, almost like we keep constantly say, so does this or do these expectations or traditional expectations also evolve? So I would urge you to begin to explore how you're able to, situate yourself in the reality of the changing times. What do I mean by this? So, even though you probably have positioned yourself as a primary breadwinner, but society is also now evolving to the point where children are becoming more independent. They are probably also going to be leaving the home. Your career will probably take an unusual or unexpected turn. Okay, now when the traditional roles you've always identified with, begin to shift. It's imperative that you begin to also evolve and position yourself in a way that you are not going to lose your identity by virtue of those roles. So, what am I saying in essence? I'm saying that you are a lot much more than the so-called roles that you have been projected to fill. The first primary responsibility of yourself is to find your true purpose, live your purpose, all right, and then you can now begin, okay, to play a meaningful role in the lives of people through impact, influence, and just inspiration all through. So the question I'd like to start off with today is that have you ever felt lost when a role you identified with started to change? Um, and how do you rediscover your purpose when things aren't the way they used to be? This is one question that usually pops up when people get into retirement. Um, and when I say people get into retirement, and I'm really serious about this, we notice that during because we usually have these retirement classes, right? And in the pre-retirement classes, we just find out that the retiree or the intended retiree cannot succinctly distinguish between his role as probably general manager and now in his new state. And if there's anything we try to do is to say, you know what, can you please begin to rediscover who you are and then begin to understand your identity. So introducing a story today about a friend Kule. He was a provider and protector for his family. He had a high-powered job. His wife and children depended on him financially. But when the company went down, they were going through a restructuring. Somehow, for whatever it is, he wasn't playing politics, so he lost his position. And he suddenly found himself without the traditional role, which he had always been for almost 9, 10 years in his relationship. I had a similar stint also. Mine was for about 6 to 8 months. And he just started to struggle with feelings of inadequacy, confusion. Without a job, he was just there, hell bent on getting back normal, but it was a struggle. It was like he was drowning. He soon realized that, look, this was just another opportunity. Well, if he didn't change his gear, he would just wallow in pity and somehow fizzle away. Look, over time, Kule started to realize that this was an opportunity to just rediscover himself. When I experienced my last $30 story, I had to just go in and just go on a retreat to truly also just find out who and what is truly wrong. And I found that it wasn't anything wrong, okay? It wasn't just anything wrong. So let's even start off with what do we do? What to do when these traditional roles that have been foisted upon us begins to change? What do we do? And a lot of people will say, look, you are talking like this because maybe you are going through a challenge or something. But I'm saying that a lot of men today are in that category. Okay, so you must recognize that your value goes beyond your role. And if there's anything that we have emphasized in the course of all of these days over this scene on redefining masculinity, is that we had also often mentioned that there was a need to recognize that beyond just being a provider, you're a partner, you're a priest, you're a prophet, all right, you're a procreator, you are several other things, a procreator, and so several other things, right? But if you limit yourself to the role that you play and you're tying yourself strictly to that I'm the breadwinner, and if I cannot fulfill my role, then I become inadequate and irrelevant. Well, I need to tell you, your value goes beyond your traditional role. It is rooted in who you are, okay? It is rooted in who you are. And if you understand this thing as to partnerships, that in you as a couple, we are working as a team, you'll soon realize that there was a reason why both of you came together. And it wasn't for competition, okay? It was for collaboration. So now someone may say, look, this is all this is all wash, right? Well, it's your thoughts. It's in the mind. Okay. So one of the things I also like to say is embrace change as an opportunity. When these opportunities or these roles, okay, begin to fade, or it can feel unsettling because you've been used to being the guy that drops the box, the breadwinner. But it's also an opportunity for growth, because I told you when I experienced mine, I started to ask myself, what was wrong? What could I do differently? And just within that, it gave me a chance to be able to explore the new aspect of my life and deepen and discover, okay, some of those hidden talents. So I recall then that one of the things, having shut my office for about 6 months, I've not paid salaries for about 5 months, I've not, dropped a dime at home either to augment with the finances or the domestic support here and there. Uh, I started to embrace that change as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. And within that period, I started to ask myself, what can you really do? And I just discovered that I was vast in helping to offer solutions. And the way that could be translated to was in developing business plans. And just about that time, something happened. There was this program that was run by the federal government of Nigeria back then, and it was for individuals to pitch their their business ideas for a grant. And I went on that journey. For whatever it is, I wrote over almost 100 business concepts for individuals that had to pay money. Now, where did that come from? Now, so beyond that experience of income, which ordinarily was unbelievable, because imagine I was down on flat, but there was something also that happened. Insight I garnered made me a better strategist, a better business strategist, to the point where if you've done almost 100 concept notes, you really truly have read and dug deep into the dynamics of business. So I was more articulate. I could offer solutions even in a better way, with better insights, with better understanding. So whenever these roles change, please use it as an opportunity, to embrace change. Another thing that you must do when roles are starting to change like this, where you don't see yourself as a breadwinner, provider, you must start to redefine what success looks like. Okay? Society is often tied to societal expectation. That's society. But it's important for you to define what success means to you and for you. So it's no longer about any money. Because I looked at it, I was analyzing something with my wife this evening or earlier on today. And I was like, okay, now the children are almost all in the university, save for one. And she's in her final year in high school, right? And a final year in the high school. Now, with being final year in the high school, something else has happened. Okay, she's now. We started to see how life can be. We call them nesters, home nesters. I don't know where all the children are no longer at home, and so it was just the two of us having to have a discussion. I was like, what does 10, 5, 15 years look like from now? What will we be doing? That we must start to look at ways that we can begin to, whether or not, nurture relationships, right? Mutually beneficial relationships, or get into relationships that it will be such that interest both of us. So that if there's some element of boredom or whatever it is, as we pursue these things, we don't lose touch of our closeness and our connection. And that really just got me thinking, okay, to the extent that truly that's one of the things that we ought to start to give a thought to. Because if we don't, we just become emotionally distant. There will be no satisfaction with the relationship. So you just begin to struggle. Honestly, you just begin to struggle. So one of the things that I tried to do and I opened, was that can we even have this sit down to extensively discuss what we can do differently, and as we do that, we can better prepare for life after, when we are done paying all the bills and everybody's going about their life. Okay, well, hoping that this would help us maybe find new ways to contribute to ourselves. And that discussion was supposed to provoke that essentially. Okay, that okay, after all these things, now okay, now you're no longer paying school fees. Now you are no longer paying house rent. Now you are no longer. So what then will we now be doing now? And then she muted the fact that she wanted to align or start a charity that would afford her to touch lives. So you just begin to see that as you begin to reconnect with your passion, okay, you start to see the true essence of who you are. So one of the ways you can also do in reconnecting your passion is that look, you've jettisoned your personal passion over time. Can you reconnect with it? Reconnect with your interests. Reconnect with what gives you joy. Ignite your sense of purpose and joy. Okay, and so for me, like I said initially, I felt lost, down, out, mean, disdained, discouraged, depressed. I lost my self esteem, and I just started to reflect from that experience, and I just started to see that look, I'm much more than being a financial provider, and that if I truly can discover my true value, that value will attract value. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you get into jobs, and like in the country where I am, you probably are passionate about doing something. Because you are probably haven't gotten traction over time. You get into a job or you get into something for the fees, but you are not truly fulfilled. Now, in rediscovering yourself, once you start to, you just find out that you are still able to lead and contribute. And as you do that, somehow, whilst you are fulfilling purpose, that value just begins to attract value, like value, the people you help, the people you are supporting, the solutions and ideas that you are bringing forward. So things just begin to evolve. Now, so the question is, how to rediscover yourself? How then do you, how do you rediscover yourself? How do you rediscover yourself? Ask yourself, how do you rediscover yourself? And I think that rediscovering oneself, it takes time. Okay, it's about time. It's about just okay. Guess what? You know that whether you like it or not, you must practice self-love. You must just in the busy world, you just must find that time to love yourself. And in loving yourself, it's about trying to say, okay, you know what can I do? Sorry, I'm trying to type this out. What can I do to truly discover myself? Because a lot of people are there lost, and they probably are wondering what is there to do. And I dare say that to discover yourself, you must take time for reflection. And because the roles are changing, you probably have felt a bit of a funny feeling not being the main provider now. Is that once these roles start to change, take time to self-reflect. Ask yourself questions about who am I? What are my core values? What are those things that brings you joy? And what are those things that get you excited? So earlier on today, I went for a could I call it a stretching class? And whilst I was talking to the instructor started to tell me about the true essence of who I am, and that I cannot truly experience peace if with anyone if I've not discovered peace within myself. And that got me thinking also. And so I'm just throwing it down to you that as you begin to teach, share, you're also learning, okay, and you're connecting. Also, as you discover or rediscover yourself, you start to set goals. One of the things I noticed about people, particularly the Indians, is that, or even the Jews, they have their goals and they work towards those goals. Now, goals are like having a destination in mind. If you start the car without the destination in mind, you just be driving around in circles. And I think a lot of us should just stop this journey, this limbo, just moving in circles. So with the goals, you're able to focus on your personal development, focus on your relationship, focus on your health, measure your progress. And it just helps you maintain direction in life, right? So setting new goals brings focus and direction during the times of transitioning. Another thing that happens, whilst we are going on in rediscovering ourselves, is that we must start to strengthen the relationships we have. Let's even know those that are truly our friends. Who are your friends? Who are those that you call your friends? Who are you friends with? Because only until then can you begin to say, I have a good life. Okay, I have friends I can connect with, people that are of mutual benefit to you. Okay, so you seek new learning opportunities. Focus on your well-being. So, what are these psychological benefits of rediscovering ourselves? Once we discover ourselves, there's increased self-awareness. Uh, just rediscovering yourself leads to greater self-awareness. You become more in tune with your core values. For me, it's choices: candor, humility, optimism, integrity, compassion, excellence. Okay, my desires. Okay, to be a reference in Africa for the advancement of personal development, entrepreneurship, and social enterprise. Okay, you discover your strengths. My own strengths. I have strategic. I have command, significance, deliberativeness, and learner. Okay, and this self-awareness helps guide me in making decisions and allows me to live life more authentically. Okay, because unless you have discovered yourself and you become aware of yourself, you cannot be able to beware of the things that you had to that will make you less authentic. Okay, whilst also trying to rediscover yourself, the import of this psychologically is that you now have a renewed sense of purpose. Look, if all that makes you happy is that you have money, then you are very miserable. You see, yeah, money is essential and answers a lot of things, but when you take time to explore new roles and paths, you create a renewed sense of purpose. And this purpose isn't tied to a single role. You just begin to see that you were purpose built for an assignment. And it's much more than your children, much more than your spouse. It's about your life, it's about your work, it's about your contribution. So, well, as you go on the rediscovery of yourself, realize that this helps you psychologically to have a sense of purpose. It also guides you, and somehow you begin to garner resilience, emotional resilience, because you have your eyes on the goal, you have your eyes on the ball. So you learn to adapt now. Okay, you start to become equipped to handle life challenges. Now, irrespective of whatever is thrown at you, you just know that your value isn't dependent on the roles you play or any single role or identity. It's about you first, about what you are bringing, what you are offering to the world. And that further helps you improve relationships, which somehow gets you to have what we call relationship satisfaction. So a lot of guys are constantly, I hear them silently making this bit about I'm beginning to lose my identity. I'm no longer, my wife does not respect me. I seem to have lost it all. Look, see, look, guys, you fear of losing your identity as a result of the traditional role fading or that your wife now earns more than you, even though it can be overwhelming. But it's important that your identity about yourself is fluid and genuine and you're authentic. Okay, so ask her, even if you're not married to your wife, okay, so even if you're the way you are, does that mean so it's not fixed, your role is not a fixed role. At different phases of our lives, we also play certain roles. So once we embrace change, you allow yourself to grow and expand beyond what you previously thought was possible. Because then you just begin to see that you're calling into your inner self. You let go of fear of losing control. And instead, you see this transition, as an opportunity to reinvent yourself and explore new aspects of life that may have been previously been undiscovered or unexplored. Okay, so I feel that as we get into this mode, we should just be mindful of the fact that, look, My identity is fluid as to the times that I'm in. Was it not scripture that talks about the children of Issachar now to the times and the season? There's a time you are bound and there's a time you are based. And this gives you an opportunity for reinvention. So I have a book on reinvention, 21 days, reinvention to discover life, love, and business, right? And that book has also greatly helped me and has also helped a lot of people. I think you should get the book. It's on Amazon and any of this platform. Okay, but this is not just about reinvention, it's about rediscovering yourself so that you can position yourself, notwithstanding the things that you are faced with. Yeah, so, well, I know this might sound a bit odd, but let me tell you something. Look, discover yourself, rediscover yourself. That's your real game changer. Because as you start to rediscover yourself, you begin to see that a lot to you that you have not started to harness, or you haven't started to express yourself in the way that you want to. One of the things also I like to always share beyond the psychological perspective is the biblical perspective on finding new people. Okay, so it was Jeremiah, that popular prophet 29:11, that tells us that God assured him that he knows the plan that he has for him. And these plans are for good and not for evil. It's supposed to give us hope and a future. For me, this scripture speaks to the fact that even when our souls and circumstances change, God has a purpose. That purpose and that plan is infallible, irrevocable. It cannot be revoked. Irrevocable, yes, it's infallible. And that if we understand that our worth and our identity is not tied to just any one role, but that it is anchored in God's love and purpose for our life, we're able to navigate through these times, trusting in the bigger picture and embracing the journey of self-discovery with faith and optimism. Look, I tell you, and when I share with you, I'm sharing with you from the depth of my heart because I've experienced things like this, and I know how demeaning it can be where you see your role changing, and somehow maybe the wife is now the breadwinner. Well, when these traditional roles fade, it's important to rediscover yourself and reframe and redefine what it means to live with purpose and fulfillment. Your identity is not limited by societal expectations of the roles because, hey, nobody gives nobody gives a damn about you really. At the end of the day, everybody's living their life. It's something deeper, more fluid, rooted in your core values, your passion, your relationship, your strengths. So if there's anything I want to leave you with this evening, is that you must embrace change as a chance to grow, to learn, to contribute, okay, in ways like never before. And until you find yourself in all of this, you truly cannot begin to find the joy and fulfillment you require. And it's only when you find the joy and fulfillment that you require that you're able to also, avail others happiness, joy, peace, and every other thing. Okay, look, I know that you've heard this a million times. But one of the things that would work for you, truly, is to say, you know what? Can I just move a notch higher? That where I am now is not the destination. And as long as I'm alive, there's still more to me. So was it not Colonel Sanders at the age of 65 that started talking fried chicken? So life, look, unless you have given up on yourself, God has not given up on you. And who says this tide will not turn? So whoever is listening at this point, and whoever comes across this at whatever point in life, search within yourself because somehow there's a greater purpose for you. And it's until you discover this that you can truly begin to live your life outside of just being the provider, outside of just being the protector, outside of just being the priest. But you can now live yourself as a redefined man in this time. I hope you've been blessed. I truly, like I said, in my learning and teaching, I'm learning and I'm teaching, I'm learning I'm teaching, and it's transformative for me. I'm experiencing transformation within. I'm evolving every day. And I hope that you can also say same. Well, tomorrow is supposed to be our last day. Um, I hope that somehow we can have you drop in a word, share with us, and get things going. But for me, it's been an awesome time, and I hope that you've truly been blessed. If you have, you could press the subscribe button and share to a friend, hoping that somehow it can help to discover themselves, to find their masculinity today. Till tomorrow, see you, and have a wonderful evening. Bye.